extremely waves now live streaming software development which make a dark tower defense game with me. Waves, how's everyone day going? That lost in code 238 said hello.
Hey, Code, how's it going, man?
That lost in code 238 said how's the family?
Family's doing pretty well. How about yours?
That lost in code 238 said all good THX.
Trying out a new multi-thread chat here. And an ominous hand.
That lost in code 238 asks text-to-speech chat.
You knew that was me?
That lost in code 238 said hello Riley.
Why is it? Yeah, he knew. I thought I disabled the voice to the text to voice. Huh. I don't know if that's going to be annoying for you. I unchecked the option for that.
That Dimilani matter said bug morning brew.
Yeah, how's it going, Vimal Animator? How's your day going? Just troubleshooting a few settings here and then gonna get started on a game dev challenge. But this bot won't stop reading the messages out loud.
That lost in code 238 said gave him waving hand emoji.
It's not even doing it well. It's like something on low batteries. So Code, you got 7th place in that game jam. That's pretty awesome, dude. Did you get any good feedback on it? Also, thanks for bearing with me here. I did a Yeah, no, that's pretty impressive, dude. 3 hours and then snagging 7th place. Really nice. All right. Wandering Merchant, is that like for the new challenge, for the new game jam? Are you gonna do that one too? Starts tomorrow.
That lost in code 238 said May starts tomorrow. That lost in code 238 said might join. That lost in code 238 said it's only 3 hours.
Nice. Yeah, you definitely should. All right, one sec. I'm gonna see if closing out OBS makes it stop talking. Hopefully, I can get the stream up and running. Hang in there, though. Be right back.
That lost in code 238 said lol, that chat voice is creepy.
All right, I think I'm back. All right, I see your message and I didn't hear the creepy robot, so I think we're good. Okay. Thank God. All right. And again, slow start here. I had to change a ton of settings because I swapped out my motherboard over the past few weeks, and I had to swap out the motherboard because the original PSU went bad and apparently fried the old motherboard. And I went to a local Best Buy store and I bought the first motherboard replacement, and I couldn't get it to work. It seemed to be dead on arrival, so I took it back. I exchanged it for another one, brought it back here. It also didn't work. I took it back. They asked me if I knew what I was doing. I said yes. Then I took the third one, which actually was $20 more expensive, brought it home, and it does work. So I think they hustled me for another $20, but at least I know I'm not crazy because I know how to hook up a motherboard. And I'm back in action. Yeah, they didn't, I mean, I was joking about the hustling. They didn't actually upsell me. I just chose to go with a better one. But, yeah. I think I was annoying them. But it was annoying me. Alright, here we go. So, Code, I think this is the latest challenge app that you made, so I'm gonna give it a shot here. All right, with the theme, stay together. All right. No asset packs, only assets created in Piskel are allowed. 1 level per scene. And pick a modifier. Fixed camera. Control at least 2 entities. Separation must matter. Interesting. All right, let me see here. Gonna go with. All right, so no asset packs. And 1 level per scene. 1 level per scene. Okay, so all right. And then fixed camera, control at least 2 entities, and separation must matter. Yeah, some tough choices there. Tell you what, I feel like I don't want to spend too long on this, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the timer started. So let me just swap the scene out here, and then there we go. All right, I'm starting the timer because as I sit here and think about it, I'm also sort of like thinking through it. So, and you know what? That's actually a 1-hour timer. I'm gonna let that run out, and then I'm gonna hit restart again because I don't want to reconfigure it. Let's see here. Yeah, let's see how far I can get. I feel like the fixed camera is the easy option here. So I'm gonna try controlling at least 2 entities and seeing what I can do with that. So let me see if I can put this here on the screen. So we'll say no. I'll just say no assets, and then level, and then also control to, let's say control 2. All right. Cool beans. Yeah, I figured that was probably like an easy option, but picking one of these others will push me a little bit. All right, let me do something here real quick.
I'm the one in control, the one that brings the heat, the one with the flow, the one that's divine. I'm the one in control, the one with the crown, who never back down, the one busting rhymes. I'm the one in control.
Sorry, 1 second here.
The one that brings the heat, the one with the flow, the one that's divine. I'm the one in control, the one that brings the heat, the one with the flow, the untouchable. I'm the one in control.
Okay, timer is fixed.
The one with the
Yeah, PC is running smooth. Honestly, it was running smooth to begin with, besides periodic issues, you know. I think there was a hardware failure. Like I said, I think something fried. I just turned off the computer and I was moving it around, but I was gentle with it. I'm thinking maybe some sort of voltage spike or something like that.
the one with the crown, who never back down,
Something like that.
the one busting rhymes. I'm the one.
All right, adjusting my audio here too. Let me know if I need to change music or voice.
With the flow.
Okay, so I'm going to spend a few minutes here planning out the game. So I'm going to do it in 2D, and No asset packs. So I had GIMP open in the background just in case. I'm going to go and close that out. I'm going to do a landscape game. All right, let's create the template here. I don't think my GDevelop app got the latest updates either, because didn't they do something with the default background? What did they do with it? I'm going to go ahead and create a background layer. And a UI layer. While I kind of think about exactly what I want to do, I'm going to get a few basic things put into place here. Rename this. This will just be called level 1, I suppose. And add an object. I'll probably need something called player. Maybe like player 1. It's not going to be multiplayer. I don't want to deal with that because I hate testing multiplayer so much. But it might be a player object number 1, player object number 2. We'll do a yellow one for Riley Parker. Oops, I forgot to change that. All right, and oh yeah, yellow hat. Yellow hat's always good. And yeah, multiplayer in 2 hours would be crazy. Someone can do it. I'm just not gonna do it tonight. Riley, what type of hat? All right, so control 2 objects. Let me think here. And stay together. That's an interesting combination, actually. And it does seem like it would be great for multiplayer. Let's see. What is my escape strategy here? Yeah, I could do something like that. Maybe I've got like 2 people who need to like escape a dungeon. Local multiplayer. It'd be easier doing a game like that if I had, say, Sam here to help me playtest it. But could be doable. All right. I'm thinking. What if we do something like... sort of like a... If we do something like that, maybe like Pac-Man style. So I'll need some like walls, like barriers. Could have two versions of a level and swap between them to move each player. Yeah, I could do that too. But I'm thinking about the stay together element as well. Let's set up a grid for starters. Make it that a little bit less crazy. 64, 64. Let's see. Now you did, I think you were using the I think you made a tile map for yours, which might be easier here. Also, in your new game, with the slime, everything but the spikes and lava is tile map. Nice. That seems like the easy way to do it. The best way to do it. Why is it acting like... It's acting like there's no data there for the image. Clearly, I haven't actually created a tile map. I've only used pre-existing ones. So I'm going to learn this on the fly. The tile size was set to 64. The atlas image is smaller than the tile size. Click on the tile map grid. Oh, that's part of the problem, I think. Okay. Next question is, how do I get it to snap to my grid? So weird. Oh, is that snapped? Okay, I guess it is. Yeah, that's working better. Okay. All right, I'm gonna do, I think I want to do top-down movement. Let's not rotate. All right, then let's do external events. Yeah, so I'm thinking I want to kind of set it up kind of like a Pac-Man game and then go from there. But with two player objects that need to basically escape. All right, so W, let's do A for left. Down. And, oops. And right. All right, we got some movement using WASD. And then I think I actually want to put these into a group. And I may actually need to make these global objects too. All right. Oh, I know why. So let's get rid of this other one, and then I want to duplicate player one. Well, in fact, let me just finish setting up player one altogether. All right. Let's get a map thrown together. I guess I could do, we said one level per scene, right? So maybe there's no point in doing a bunch of external layouts for these. Oops. Not what I'm going for there. In your clone game, all objects were scene objects, and you just duplicated the scene. You don't suggest doing it as it's a pain. Yeah, man, that sounds familiar. I think I was doing that with my old tower defense game too, from last year. It is a pain. All right, so next I want to make sure I have collision with these things. Because obviously right now there is not. And I don't like the deceleration on that either. Does 0 default to instant? No, it does not. Okay. All right, and then let me think. Top-down player character behavior. Yeah, I'm trying to rack my brain on that real quick. Tile map and top down. Let's do a there was nothing that said we can't search the documentation, so I'm going to do gdevelop top down. Oh, and then separate. We could try the separate. Don't know about this. No. Yeah, collision, the time map is one big sprite. So maybe just don't use a tile map? Let's see if it works with this other thing. Non-tile map. Oh, also this. Okay, that does work. I'm not going to spend another second on that. Good call. Well, the tile map can exist if we need art, but I won't use it for actual barriers. So for now, for the sake of time, I'm just going to ignore that. Let's get the barriers in place. We're doing things all manual style. Okay, and then what would be really cool is if I could code up a procedural maze generator here, but I don't think I can do that in time. Yeah, no worries. I don't think I specified, but yeah, I'm going top down just because I did platformer last time. No worries at all. So there's an extension for it to make mazes. Maze generator. Oh, show experimental. That must be it. Okay, let's try it. Why not? you're thinking of the dungeon generator. So the generate maze is made of a grid of rectangular cells. Walls are created randomly so that every cell is reachable through a random path through the maze. I guess we're learning together. There are 3 other actions that can create sprite objects you can use to place the maze into the scene. Create maze floor objects, create tiles for each cell in the maze, create maze wall objects, creating objects between each cell, and then create maze corner objects, create objects on the point between 4 cell corners. Interesting. Okay, well, let's go to, I guess, at the beginning of the scene. Generate a maze. Top left point. For X, top left point Y, 0, 0. Width of the whole maze, let's say, what do we do? 1920, 1080. Now we're gonna find out, aren't we? Cell width will be 64 by 64. Custom name for new maze. Maze 1. Okay. What does it use for the sprites? Create maze wall objects. Seems like these would have to happen first, otherwise there's nothing, it doesn't know what to use. Because what happens if I just run this? Nothing. So... Alright. 1 hour, 28 minutes. And the options it was giving me was this player 1 object, tile map. Let me read the thing here again. Create tiles for each cell in the maze. Create maze wall objects. Create objects between each cell. Okay, so I think this is slapping on the visuals then. Alright. In that case... Oh, my bad. Let me see what I can do about that. Okay, so it sounds like it creates the maze digitally, and then I think after that we need to do the create maze objects for the visuals, and it plugs them in. So maze 1, maze ID chosen during maze creation, Then I need to choose an object. It's only giving me the choice of my player 1 object or the group of that thing. Which means it's looking for a global object, I think. So, if that's the case, why don't I take this and drop it up here? Create maze, wall objects. Huh, why is it not? Why does it only give me that particular object, the player? Is it because it's on the scene? But these are on the scene too. How bizarre. Let me go to the documentation. Oh, that got bright. Oh, maybe. It's not giving me the option to choose the tile map or the non-tile map object. It's only giving me the choice to pick my player sprite. Let's see though. Yeah, on the scene, it's non-tile map. And then if I put tile map out here, yeah, I mean, maybe it's a bug. I don't know. Tile. Like, it's just literally not giving me the choice. Like, this could be funny. What if I put player in there? I deleted player 2. What if I duplicate player 1? Player 2 is a choice. It let me do that. How bizarre. I don't know, but it is experimental. Probably not worth getting all upset about. Let me just take this player 2 object and make it look gray. Yeah, sorry for the blinding. Yeah, definitely always fun. All right, so let's use player 2. I have no idea why it prefers that. And then, so what is it doing with this? In fact, let me get rid of these borders as well real quick. Let me just move those out of the way so I can see what we're working with. Doesn't seem very passable, but I didn't really do everything else either. So we need to create the flooring. So why don't I do this? Let's take the player 2. I'm going to rename it as wall or walls. I'm going to duplicate that and call it floor. And I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to give it an effect. Oh, that is the wrong thing. That should just be on the base layer. Z order should just be 1. Maybe even 0. And hit OK. Okay, so that worked. It didn't really change much. And then what else? Corner objects. Find maze path action. Oh yeah. Start row. So say 0, 0, and so is this, how many do I have then? Do I need to calculate? 30? I'm not exactly sure. Okay, no good there. Do I need to move that here first? Oh no. All right, I'm going back to the website. Watch your eyes. Creates a scene variable array containing a sequence of directions to go from one cell to another. Hope I can get this working. Okay, so I can always try attaching the behavior to the objects. I'm not sure what it's going to do for them. In fact, let me remove this behavior from them. Maze object. Yeah, very curious. I feel like I'm close to getting it. Let's see here. Hour 13. So if I can't get this in the next like 5 minutes, I'm going to bypass the nifty looking extension. Create random maze called maze 1. At this point, made with 64 by 64 cells. Find path through the maze from row 0, column 0 to row 16, column 30. Yeah, let's pause that behavior. No worries, it's just to speed up. If I can get just a few good levels, that's fine too. All right, back to plan A. All right, so in this case, I'm just going to create some walls, and then what I also want to do though is, I guess, create some enemies that will try to seek out the player object, or objects rather. Oh my gosh. All right. That gives me enough to work with there. Let's do a... I'm just going to duplicate that, call it enemy 1. Gonna give this some red. What in the world? Why is it erasing? How odd. Alright, that's better now. It's gonna be an angry little enemy. We're going to take away the top-down movement. And we're going to add pathfinding. Don't rotate it. And let's do an external event. Enemies. Oh yeah, the extension looks like more of a hassle. That's unfortunate. It looked like it might have been a quick setup. It was kind of a shot in the dark. Thanks for looking into it though. All right, let's see if these things move toward the player object. I think they're going to go to the original position unless I update that. So which means this would need to be outside of at the beginning. Hopefully it's not too crazy. Okay, and then I'd still need to get the collision going for them too. So enemies, let's see, I could use pathfinding barrier, I think. So let's take the walls, behaviors, add, or obstacle I think is what it's called. Impassable. And if all goes well, all did not go well. Hold on. No, those aren't walls. That's the non-tile map thing. All right, let's get rid of those walls. Delete. I turned that into a platform. That doesn't need to be a platform. All right, here we go. Why are they just going through that? Non-tile map, behavior, pathfinding obstacle, impassable. Grid size on behavior of enemy might be smaller than 32 by 32. The enemy is 64 by 64. Oh, on the behavior of enemy. Yeah, let me check. In fact, everything else is 64 by 64. Should I set it to that? It still aligns, but it's... Yeah. For you, the default size on behavior is like 20. Yeah, the default was 20 for sure. You could also try doing no diagonals. Yeah, no good there. What in the world? Welcome back. Hopefully it's not glitching too bad. Oh, look at that. It's me from the ancient days. But whatever I did there, it's not going to fix my problem. Funny that Google pulled me up. That's kind of creepy. That's kind of hilarious. I did not do that on purpose. Obviously, that was the AI response. Okay. Oh, maybe Keith here just said, if you're using walls, don't copy, paste, and rotate them. All right, let's try that. I think I remember that being a problem in the past. Hopefully extending them is okay. Yes, Keith is a genius. It's just kind of a quirky behavior. Do not rotate the objects that are obstacles. All right, moving forward. Somewhere I want to keep just like a little journal of all these little nuggets that you should just know. It's not in the documentation. You should just know. Yeah, bugs. In fact, don't copy paste either. Slap on the wrist for that. Obviously, painting these out would have been nicer. But the primary thing is to get one level going, and then get the multiple player objects going as well. I'm trying to leave gaps of at least 2 cells at a time. You do copy and paste? Maybe copy and paste isn't so bad, but I did do some rotating. I don't know. I have no idea. Okay, then the last thing I want to do, just to make sure that we have an actual level, is put like an exit. Yeah, it could be the rotation. Maybe that's the worst part. Let's test this again. Yeah, that pathfinding behavior is pretty solid. All right, I like that. I need a door. Like a gateway. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. About an hour left here. This will be like a portal. In fact, we're going to do this. Then let's grab a darker color as well. Just something like that. And then one more darker color. Oof, that's way off center. I'm completely eyeballing this. Then I just wanted to take like, yeah, pink eye. I just wanted to take like, just the regular pen. Actually, that might be fine. Let me just save that. And then edit points, 64 by 64. And let's give it an effect. else? Let's call that portal. Apply. Since everything else is global, I'll make that global too. Why not? Yeah, that first hour is just gone. Absolutely gone. I haven't even looked through some of these settings down here. So let's see. I'm just looking for a particle emitter. Let's just grab some magic. All right, bud. All right, changing the radius of these emitters. Let's see what this looks like. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right, good enough. We're gonna go with this for now. Now, I think I do need to slow the enemies down just a little bit. They're kind of crazy. And that portal does look familiar, doesn't it? I saw that in a game recently. Player collision with enemy. Then I will trigger a variable. Let's do a global. I'll do a scene variable. Yeah, nice and easy. Just a sprite and a particle emitter. Gotta love it. Okay. So Let's go to the level here. We'll say if at any point is greater than or equal to 3, then it's going to be game over. How's it going? Please take out air fryer. How's your day going? That's an awesome name. Where do we want to do this? I could do... I guess I'll just do a game over scene. No, actually, forget that. Let me create a variable. So if the game over has not been set up, then we will set the timescale to like 0.01 or something. Delete the player object. Does it always say joined and left? It does today, because I added some stuff, such as that creepy robot voice. So as of now, it will always say that. Yeah, I guess for Twitch. Let me see, because I don't think it said that for you. I know TikTok does that, but I'm not multicasting to TikTok. Okay, and then I'll need a button so that you can play again, too. But let me see if this happens. Oh, also... I'll need, like, a start point for the player. Delete this. Edit the points. And I don't care about the color because it's not going to stay visible. But in this case, it'll be here. And it's going to be... transparent. So what I'll say then is... basically, if you haven't hit 3 enemies yet, I'm going to move the player. Back to the start point whenever they hit an enemy. Yeah, for sure. Glad to see you're doing it that way too. All right, that is that. We could probably make the end time scale just a little bit faster. Watch the portal move and such. Maybe 0.1. Okay. Now I think to make sure that I meet the criteria here, see maybe a tween to respawn. Could try that, yeah. Let me add tween to the player object. Although you need to disable collision while tween is playing. Maybe. Yeah, if I have to do that, I might skip on this for the moment until the game is all built out, and then I might revisit. Let's see what happens here. Oops. I need to use this scene to start all previews. It's kind of funny looking. If tween is not playing. You're a genius. It worked. All right, nice and smooth. Okay. So what I need then is to control 2 and stay together. So what I might do is something like you recommended. I might just do like a little local co-op where WASD controls one and then the arrows control the other. Let me see. I think I've disabled the default. Yeah, so arrows are not controlling that one. So then I'm wondering if I duplicate this player, call it player 2. Let's make this one not yellow. What color do we want for player 2? Green. Yeah, don't overwrite. Almost did. Almost did. I don't know what I'm doing. All right. So I think all I need to do then is specify which object here. So player 1. And then so just up, and then for player 2. So we need left here, just literally left. Then down. Then I need a right. Here, let me run a quick test on this. WASD for yellow. Arrows definitely not working because I didn't update these. So let's see. Left, simulate pressing left. Down, pressing down. And up for up. Well, that's all. Wait, what? No, right. Okay, and then I also need the barrier stuff for this. So actually I need to put these in a group now. Or rather add the other one to it. Could have ticked default controls for player 2. Yeah, that actually would have been really smart. So if player objects are in collision with this thing, so hopefully this all plays nicely together. We're going to find out. All right. All right, I've got control of the green. And if I'm really well coordinated, I could just control them both. But I think what I want to do is add a tether. And I also want to separate them. If I can, if it lets me. Actually, what I might need to do is just call them out individually. See if that works. 35 minutes. Whoa. Look at that. I can push. They can push each other. That's a fun side effect. Well, at least one of them can push the other. Look at that really slow tween. All right. That's interesting. Yeah, definitely ideas. What happens if I reverse these? And yeah, definitely running low on time, but I think... I mean, this is still pretty core right here, so I have to kind of get this going. I mean, the goal is obviously just get to the portal. So green can push yellow, but yellow isn't pushing green, which just seems unfair. Let's see. And I've completely reversed them all, too. Okay, so... I guess I need to give them a tether. So I guess I'll just do a distance check. And I don't know what I want it to be. Let's try 150. And I'll just test this with just player one moving away. Wait, hold on. Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, it's kind of locking in yellow there. So if green moves up, yellow can move up. Yeah, it's a two chain together game. Because that's going to be my way of meeting parameter number one, stay together. So if I get this working, I'll probably draw a line between them. What would be really cool is if I could have the line be multicolored, where one end of it was yellow and one end was green, but I don't know about that. But I could do something. Let's get a painter object right after I finish the distance. Do we think 150 seems a little short? Let's try 250. About like that. $300. Tell you what, let's put this into a variable. A global variable. Player chain distance. And then hopefully I don't need to like reverse these in any way for the green. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. Test this out. So yellow. Oh gosh. That's actually a problem. Okay. Because it just gets locked. So what I might need to do is, if it's outside of that distance, then move the player slightly toward the other player. Something like that. Give it a little bit of a rubber band effect. I have no idea. If player 1 distance to player 2 is not below that distance, then player 1, you could say tween position I want it to be toward an object, not a position. Let's think here. All right, so I was thinking put it like rubber band effect on them so that if they go outside the range, they kind of scrunch back together. Or have speed lower if you move too far. Could do that too. That would get rid of the hard lock. So you can separate, but you move very, very slow. I like that workaround. Yeah, let's give that a shot here. So in that case, we'll just do a check for the distance, which I actually just deleted. So if player 1 distance to player 2, then we'll call in that global variable. Is below this. Let's set another variable here just for my sanity. Yeah, it's not a hard forcing you to stay together, but you're probably going to die if you don't. George, what's going on, dude? Haven't seen you on here in a while, because I haven't been on in a while. Players together. All right. Yeah, looking forward to Austin, man. It's gonna be a good time. So if players together is true, or rather, if it's false, we're going to set it to true. And then also if slowed is true as well, then we're going to do another thing. For each player. See, what is the speed? Max speed is 600. Okay. So this will set it right. And then change players slowed to false. Then basically take the whole thing and invert it. I hope that works. Yep, March is coming up fast, man. We're already halfway through February, which is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Lower speed should be half the enemy speed, you think? Oh yeah, what is the enemy speed? What did I change that to? $100, so 50. Really, really bad. Okay, so they're together forever. Green's like, come on, yellow. Oh, that red one just ate yellow. Huh, okay. For one thing, I need to go to here, and instead of saying delete player, should be player objects. Oops. Not gonna lie, it's actually a little confusing playing it like that. Okay, I deleted them both. Let's see. Then I need to do a check for if the players are at the portal. All right, variables. 20 minutes left. Small game can just use collision checks. Yeah, that's true too. When set to true. Okay, and then we'll say variable if when is true, And game over setup is false. And let's set game over setup to true as well. And then let's go ahead and delete the players out. And then what else? Could be fun to kind of explode the enemies wherever they are. That's hilarious. You just literally sent that through the chat and it had a delay, and then I said it too. Let's explode the enemies. Great minds think alike. No, not a sprite. What am I doing? Because I'm not really adding much polish to this. I'm using this physical art. That's all that I've got. So clearly blowing up the enemies is the next step. All right, 2D particle emitter. Yeah, that is absolutely hilarious. Let's try this one. I don't even know what this looks like. Let's just throw it out in the scene. I know that was too... Let me edit this here. Let's actually keep it kind of red. Something like this. Particle start size 100. Okay. All right, then we will repeat for each instance of the enemies. Oops, what am I doing? Explosion 1, create at enemy1.x, enemy1.y, and then delete the enemies. So I have to win it first. Go. Nope, not that way. What? Who made this game too hard? All right, I got to get the enemies to go under there and then go this way. And yellow got stuck. Dang it. No. Okay. Where did I tell them to push apart? Let's get rid of that. Although I am interested in toying around with that in a different game, maybe. Okay. But at least they're not going to go outside the bounds. Yellow said I'm out. All right, that works. What we could do, what I could do is, if they're in collision with each other, just change. I could adjust the opacity. I've got 13 minutes. Something like, just make the opacity not 100%. Not sure what that'll look like. Yeah, that way you can kind of see each other. Oh man, that's really rough if you get separated. That is brutal. I think they both need to tween. Yeah, and then some... Let's make a few kevels. Definitely right after I fix this issue, because basically it's just death if you touch an enemy even one time. And then I'll put in a couple more levels. For each object, player objects, between the position. Let's try that now. Oh, and that enemy just left. It dipped. Okay. I think I know what to do here. Players. Resetting. All right, so if the players need to be reset, Then we'll do the tween. And then we'll change that variable value back. You said tween them individually, maybe. They can send one to spawn .y plus 64, so they are separate. Yeah, I could do that too. Let's see how this works out. Okay, so that's that. All right, let's make some kevels then. I think that's good enough for the core gameplay. Let's do a couple kevels. So I'm going to drag that here. Then, I guess duplicate the level. Or the scene, whatever it is. All right, so level 2. And yeah, let's start with the start point. Let's put the start point somewhere completely different, maybe up here on the top right. Put the players over there. Let's move the enemies over here somewhere. Actually, let's just delete the enemies for the moment and let's move some walls around. In fact, let's put the portal somewhere different too. Let's put that way up here in the corner. And we're going to make a long barrier, like a long corridor that they have to get through. Kevels. It's like Kelvin levels. Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. Are they chasing both players? That's a really good question. Oops. Let's go look at... They are not. Maybe each player should get their own enemies. What can I do in 5 minutes? Because I don't want them to get like all stuck and confused, like jittering between the players. Yeah, you are next to each other. That's definitely true. Not a huge deal. You're right. It's probably not a big deal in this particular instance. Thank goodness. All right, we're going to ignore that major glaring issue. And what else are we going to do here? Level design, level design. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm glad you asked about that. Okay, let's try this. Let's do some enemies. Oh, now I need to make sure that I increment the level as well. So let's go to the player, the portal. If win is set to true, do all these things, and then finally we'll say, I guess wait. We'll give it a wait like a half second. Then scene. Hold on, I need a variable for this. All right, we're gonna increment the level, and then hopefully it changes. So let's try this. 2 minutes. Oh, geez. All right, I'm gonna cheat this just a little bit. All right, that worked. Let's go to level 3. 1.5 minutes. Hopefully that copy and paste didn't break anything. Level 3, let's put the thing way up here. Let's put the players down here. I don't know, man. I don't know. "30 seconds. Could make it extra tight up in here. All right, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna hit save. Let me just make sure I've got players on all the levels. Let's get rid of this unneeded thing here. That is it. Pencils down. All right, now I'm just going to I have a few minutes as I started the timer as I was making the game. Let's just, in that case, try to beat the levels. And I'm going to do it by getting rid of the stupid enemies here because I can't actually win. I just want to run through the levels and make sure they actually update. Okay. And that enemy is just going way off. That is bizarre. Let's go down and around. Okay, we can at least get to the different levels. And then obviously here, if I was going to do anything else, I might send this to like a main menu level thingy. So let me add the enemies back here to level 1. Just to make this kind of replayable, let me just use my spare minute to add a main menu scene here. It's not really changing the gameplay in any way. Maybe the wall was rotated. It could have been. What was that, level 2 as well? And then level 3. Let's try that one as well. Quite possible. Save. And then, yeah, like I said, just maybe have like a main menu where there's a button where you can replay. Oops, show the grid. Okay, and just a button here.
TikTok, TikTok, time you ever.
Yep. All right, that is pretty much it. And then, so at the end of level 3, all I need to tell it then is if... Yeah, I think so, dude. I can test that out. What I'll say is if variable value current level is equal to, if it's greater than or equal, what am I trying to say? 1, 2, 3. If it's less than or equal to 3, it's going to proceed. And then if it's greater than 3, that should take us out to the main level, main menu. And with that being the case, let's turn this into the set as start scene. It just says button. All right, that's the game.
What you clearing at me for?
It's a 2-player game. I need someone to push the buttons.
So play with code.
No, like it's local co-op. Someone has to use the keyboard here.
Like I play anything on a keyboard.
I need to get those red guys over here.
You
Come.
need to make them move faster.
Yeah, well, I ran out of time. Unfortunate. All right, last level.
You want to make 3 levels?
Yeah.
Um,
Spent all the time setting it up. They're really slow, I'm not gonna lie. Ah,
what?
it thought I got too close to it. All right.
The yellow guy for me.
Yep.
Who's the green for?
The green is for Code because of I'm promoting his slime game, which has a green slime. Yellow for Riley Parker, green for Code.
M&M's are green.
Huh?
M&M's are green.
Yeah, M&M's are green too.
What does green have to do with the slime?
All right, let me share this. Generate a link. Button. I love the fact that I left it saying button. Cool. Looks like that's working. All right. Let's go to the chat here. Can I send this to all? I'll put it in the description too if y'all can't get to that. All right, which one we doing, Code? Or did you send it to me in Discord? Discord it is. All right, yeah, let's give this a shot here. You aim to make 3 games this year, all about a slime called Splat. This is game 1 of 3. Splat and the Golden Crown. Yeah, I'm playing it now. So depending on how good or how bad I am at it, it shouldn't take long. Lots of settings here. Is the music coming through for you all? Nice, you even have a slime outline. You even did key bindings. Nice, dude. Very polished. You can customize the slime. Oh, look at that. Let's do a flower hat. You can even do a slime hat. That's hilarious. And a hat. It is Valentine's Day as well. So why don't we do these heart eyes? Yellow with heart eyes. How long did the making of the menu take? Yeah, Code, how long? Yeah, I know. Cool beans. All right, let's go back and play. Go back to menu. Yeah, very detailed. Yeah, let's play the tutorial. All right, so the slime auto jumps. I just need to move left, move right. R to reset. Q, exit to title. Reach the portal. Max height jumps onto lower platforms will result in death. So what that means is I'm going to have to, if I hit down, it jumps less high. So whatever the max jump height is, I can't go past that for fall distance. Oh no. Hold space. No jump / slide if moving. You can only do lower jumps on slime. Oh, that's a new one. I haven't seen that yet. I like the little particles. And Code, you made the entire asset pack too. It looks pretty sharp. You can slide faster on ice and jump further. Tutorial complete. Test controls more and get to the exit, or Q to exit to the menu. All right. Oof. Oops, I forgot to do the last jump. That slime saved me at the bottom. Gotta get used to the cadence here again. Natural 42 says you're thinking of making tutorials for a game engine called Game Maker Studio 2. What kind of gameplay topics should you cover? Thinking of making tutorials for Game Maker 2. Was thinking of stuff like dialogue systems. The ones were hardest for me to figure out, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, and I've heard of Game Maker as for sure. So what I do is I make tutorials on things I would have liked to have had a tutorial on. So if it's something you found an answer to and you didn't see a good tutorial out there for it, that's fantastic material for people and it's value added. How long have you been making games? All right, Code. I beat the level. The tutorial level. Grassy Caverns, floor 1. Oops. About 4 years, but switched like a bunch of game engines. Yeah, that kind of gets a lot of people. You start to learn Oh, I forgot about the jump distance. Every new engine is kind of like a time suck, isn't it? Takes that much longer to learn the engine. I've bounced around as well. Ooh. Testing, testing. All right, my audio was cutting out. Hopefully it stays steady. Okay. Now let me know if the audio freaks out. Yeah, the tutorial was great. Code. I think it really conveyed what you're trying to do here. All right, what am I supposed to do here, though? Have a good night, Riley Parker. Thanks for hopping on. All right, I think I need to slide off this platform. No, don't get back on it. Dang it. You did that too? Finally, jeez. I'm so bad at this. Grassy Caverns, floor 3. Oh, there's a yellow slime down there. Floor 4. Oh, thank goodness for that slime. Alright, so I think I have to do a slide technique here. Just one dungeon level so far. Why did that kill me? Oh, I think I know why. Okay, gotta do the slide. I'm so bad at it. I'm almost out of time here, Code, but where's the dungeon level? I like the art. It reminds me of like Terraria or something. Or what's that other one? Floor 6. Alright, let me see if I can do this. Yeah, I like it quite a bit, dude. Okay. I can never time the mini jump with a slide very well. Oh man, that was too far even for a slide. Man, I sure know how to take a normal difficulty game and make it look really hard. I am getting the pity cheats here. Okay, so this is the dungeon entrance. Oops. Another little slime. Hearts. Oh, that one hurts. I like how it had the little exclamation mark when I got killed. Very nice. Ooh, that kills me too. Ugh, not at all what I was going for. That's funny, dude. Ugh, too far. Yeah, I like the dungeons here. So it's the Arcane Dungeon 1. Oops, why am I doing that? Yep, can't get over that like that. Yeah, the slime outline is a good touch. So I think I need to like build up speed on this thing. The jump height is different on my screen? On yours, you can't make the jump to the ice from there. Oh, I see what you're saying. So on yours, you're requiring the player to come underneath here. So I have more jump height and I'm still doing this bad. Is that what you're saying? That is pretty strange, huh? Well, I had better call it a wrap for tonight, Code. But I'm loving what you've got here. And I guess that gives you something to look into. That's pretty odd. Is the game resolution set to not change in the game settings? Centered and no change in game size. That's really bizarre. Definitely worth looking into. I haven't seen that before. But I'll play some more of this on the next stream as well. But yeah, no, thanks so much for watching. And Code, I think you need to do your next round of the challenge too, if you're not too busy with the game jams. But congrats on your 7th place as well. So I'm gonna go to bed, but everyone, thanks for hanging out with us, and till next time, we will catch you later. Yeah, make some more levels as well. All right, have a good day, good night everyone. Thanks so much for watching, and whatever it is you're working on, I hope you have fewer bugs than I do, because I have a lot of them.